is going on, guys? Craig 1287 here, bringing you yet another video of Vanishing Realms. This is part 3. First part I had a good bit of commentary where I was talking all sorts of wonderful, fantastic things of this game called Vanishing Realms that was, at the time, and still is, my favorite VR experience so far. Second video, part 2, didn't have any commentary. I let you guys just kind of watch the gameplay, just raw, just see what the game was like. You finally get to see me do some dual wielding with the swords in it. And then, now, here we are at part 3. Sadly, or at least for a while now, this will be the last part that I upload for Vanishing Realms, only because, not because I'm done with it, or I just grown tired, or anything of that sort, but this chunk, this chapter 2, oh, and I do apologize, the my video, the video of me standing in the room, I left the TV going on, so you're going to be seeing, I couldn't hear it, it was muted, but I just totally forgot to turn it off before jumping into all the VR stuff. So you're going to see some flickering there from the TV, but also, I think my camera, something got mixed up. I had plenty of room, but the video stopped recording at around the 8-minute mark, so you don't get to see any of my my personal movements, but you still get a good feel right here. You can see me doing the dueling of the swords, and you can actually see it from my front side this time. So yeah, in this video I want to look more... Oh, the reason why this is the last part is, yeah, this is the last little chapter, this arena fight. Now this arena fight, it was really, really cool. I did enjoy it. It really focused on the combat. Maybe a little too much, because... Well, maybe not too much. I still... My goodness, I can't even talk. You spend so much time in VR, you just... reality starts to dissipate. You can't form full sentences. I did really enjoy this. Had it started with this, or if this was the only thing, like, it still would have been incredibly enjoyable. But I did really like the actual dungeon crawling aspect of Chapter 1, the exploration of when you get out of the cave, and that sense of, you know, looking in tree trunks and looking for things that I could find, some loot that I could get. I even enjoyed the whole mining aspect of going through that mining cave and using the pickaxe. Yeah, the pickaxe to actually mine stuff. I'm not a big Minecraft fan. I'm not a big fan of those kind of scavenging games and whatnot. But when you're actually the one whaling on the mineral deposits, the veins, it is actually really fun. But so I figured I could spin this video just talking about some of the negatives about the game, other than the fact that the biggest negative is the lack of content. I got about 2 hours out of this game, out of the 2 different chapters, and yeah, I'm very much looking forward to more. The developer is not done with the game. It is a in progress kind of game. What is it? Steam Early Access is what it is. But so yeah, some of the negatives that I have. You saw there, I was hitting those guys, and they weren't really attacking me. They're not coming at me. That other guy, that third... Now this guy, I was getting flanked by the one dude, but right now, that other guy, that third guy, he's not attacking me until I get really close. I do look forward to them, hopefully. This is not anything that I think is confirmed or not, but I really am looking forward to them adding a hard mode, or just a you know, typically when you do hard modes, it reduces the amount of health that you have, and it increases the amount of damage that the enemy has, and that's how they make the games, you know, scale with the difficulty. I don't like that. It's not my favorite way to make a game more difficult. I really wish that it focused more on the AI of the enemy. But, you know, in this game especially, like, I don't want it to deal more damage to me to where I get like 2-shot or 1-shot or something like that, or increase the health of the enemies to where I have to shoot them like 5 times as much. For for a harder difficulty. I just want them to be a little bit more aggressive. I want the range at which it triggers the melee range enemies. I just want that, like right here. I kind of wish they'd all three start coming at me. But even at that range, the guy wasn't coming at me. So I would love for that to happen. I would love for this game to have that as a feature, not a default. Obviously, you know, for new players, that makes sense. So yeah, having that as an option for more experienced VR players that have not just gotten into the game. That would be a really, really cool option. The other thing is enemies that get smaller with challenge, to increase the challenge, they get smaller with progression. As you get to the higher level things, the skeleton dudes and the enemies are not as large. Now, you could say, lore-wise, it makes sense that they're that large. They could be the skeleton remains of orcs or something like that. You know, a type of fantasy creature that's typically associated with being rather large. But I think it would just be really cool to face smaller enemies that do require you to be more accurate with your sword strikes and your lunges and things of that sort. I think that would be a really cool way to scale the difficulty and truly test what you've learned with the combat system. What else? As you saw there, I was doing a whole bunch of teleporting, and I really wish I did recently play a game called, should be on my Steam, recently played, Spellfighter VR. It was suggested to me a whole lot when I posted on Reddit my original video on Vanishing Realms. A lot of people mentioned you should try out that, geez, I already forgot the name. Spellfighter. Yeah, Spellfighter VR. And it's a similar game in that it's like set in a fantasy world setting, and then you have swords. I never came across a shield. It actually had spears and whatnot. I did get a video of that, so you will see the footage of that. But I'm just kind of giving you a brief lowdown. And coming up here is where my camera feed kind of just got screwed and glitched up. So no more footage of me. But it had spears that you could actually throw, and the animations of the enemies were much faster than in here in Vanishing Realms, and it's not nearly as polished. It was free. It cost me nothing. It's not a demo. It's just I think a straight up free game that I don't know how much the guy's adding to it over time, but can't beat free. But what really drew me to it, well, one of the reasons why I wanted to try it out, for one thing, the spell casting system in it sounded pretty cool. You could use your voice to cast things. I never did that because you actually have to download additional drivers, I guess, to do the voice mode. But you can also contextually cast the spells in it. But mostly what interested me was it prompts you. You can use a teleportation system like what Vanishing Realm uses, or you can use the touchpad as the control method, in that you just kind of place your thumb on the touchpad. You don't actually have to push the thumb pad down, but you just place your thumb on it, and whatever direction you place it, that's the direction that you move. And it took some getting used to. It was kind of like Windlands, in that I kind of lost my balance a couple times. I never fell over. You'll see in the video. You'll see me stumble maybe a couple times. I'm hoping it does come through on the camera. I actually haven't looked at the footage yet. But it's mostly because of how fast it moves. Eventually I did very much get used to it. I don't think I stumbled any. I never really lost my balance at all. After a while with it, I got used to the speed of it. I got used to the instant acceleration pretty much that it gives. Oh yeah, I've been doing a lot of VR today. I'm exhausted. What else? Yeah, so in the locomotion system, it actually did work, and so I really hope that becomes more common. I also saw a recent video. I'm not going to go into it too much, but the guy uses the two controllers, the Vive controllers, and he moves them. If you ever go jogging or running, you know how you kind of move your arms up and down in front of you, your elbow, your arm kind of forms like an L shape, and you run out with your hands in front of you. You pretty much do that. You make that motion, and that's what triggers your movement. If you use one hand to do it, it moves kind of fast at maximum speed, but if you do it with both of the hands, and in the game that he was doing, that means that you can't shoot with either hand, you move faster because it lets you actually run faster. You can't shoot, so that's a trade-off. I think that that's brilliant. I haven't tried it out. It might end up being the worst thing ever, but just thinking about it, seeing the video, it seemed really, really intuitive and brilliant. So that would be really cool to see implemented in some games. But yeah, what else? This game... Oh, you're coming up on the ending. Now, this is where the game kind of fell apart. Not this fight. This fight was actually really cool, fighting the two boss guys, and you see there in the middle, I've got my mana replenishing gems and whatnot. This is actually a cool fight, but after this is the last wave, and it just felt really rushed. I actually ended up editing a lot. Almost 5 minutes footage. It ends up teleporting me into this room where I see one of these guys like kneeling in front of me holding a torch, and a whole bunch of enemies. And it took, at first I thought I was about to have to face all of them, but I didn't. I just kind of, whenever you walked up near them, they kind of poofed into a green gas, and there was this chest at one point. You'll see. I don't edit it out completely, but I didn't really know what I was doing. So that's one thing I'd like to see this game added, is a little bit better contextual kind of messages to give the player some context as to what they're supposed to be doing. So here's where I edit. You see there, here's a room where a bunch of people, and then this is where I cut the 5 minutes. So I finally realized, oh, I gotta grab the torch out of the king's hand, and then light these other torches. There was a third torch way on the other side of this. It never really told me about that. And then there was a sign that said something about the wand, so I kept shooting this, but I had to just push the wand into that little red field that you saw there. And then here's another thing. There's this egg, and I go to pick up the egg, and it won't let me pick it up with my left hand. I don't know why. You'll see that I'm able to grasp it with my right hand, but had I not just randomly tried, well, here, it didn't work with the left, maybe I'll try it with the right. You know, something like that, that shouldn't happen. I don't know. That kind of irked me. Weird gameplay design. But, yeah, other than that, I mean, I really can't find many flaws with the gameplay. I still really love the way they do the inventory management. I love the way that they do the HUD. In this part right here, now that I've grabbed this egg, this dragon flying over, like, I can't wait for them to add more content to this game. And I'm also being a douche waving at the dragon as it flies overhead. But, and then here you'll see, here's the end where it actually says, you've completed it, wait for more content. So, yeah, overall, I still really enjoyed Vanishing Realms. Still by far my favorite VR experience. I cannot wait to get back from camp in late July and see maybe if they've released some new content. But very much looking forward to the full release of Vanishing Realms. It's really given me a glimpse at what kind of traditional gaming experiences that we've had with a large open world and a story and just kind of that RPG kind of stuff in a VR setting. It's really given me a glimpse, and I like what I saw. So hope you guys enjoyed the 3-part series on not really a series, but the 3 parts so far of my Vanishing Realm videos. Keep an eye out for more virtual reality stuff coming out soon. Hope you guys enjoyed all of it. Have a good one. Ta-ta.